In today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to master Miami on F124, going into intricate detail about your braking zones, your curb usage, your track usage as well, and everything in between. With that being said, let's get straight into the lap breakdown and straight onto the track. Jumping on track and now going into detail on how to master Miami. Going down into turn 1, you'll be pulling the car as close to the wall as possible without putting your right hand side tyre over this white line, as that will invalidate. So if you go right up to the wall, you are just over the white line, so you need to leave a few centimetres to the wall, and that will give you the optimal line going into turn 1. Turn 1 is uphill, so it's quite sensitive to the car balance, and as you reach the apex, the car can become a bit unbalanced, so keep that in mind. And the 100-meter board will be braking down into third gear, using up the curb on the inside without hitting the sausage curb on the inside part of the curbing, and that'll be the optimal line, keeping the car to the middle of the road on the exit. Then through the left-hander, depending on your ride height, but the ride height that we're running today that I'll show you in the setup page after these hot laps are completed, you can go over this inside curbing, putting two wheels basically where that white line is, and that'll be the optimal trajectory to be taking. The same on the right hander here, and you can skip over the curbing. Minimize the distance, keep as close to the wall on the inside as possible through that right hander, again, just to minimize the distance of the track and gain a lap time advantage that way. Going into the left-hander, you'll be slightly lifting the throttle as you get to this black board on the top right-hand side screen, and you will not be braking. You'll only be lifting the throttle to about 70% as you turn in initially, putting two wheels on the inside curbing, then keeping as close to the wall as possible as you open up the right-hander. Again, now reducing the throttle even further down to about 40%, and if you need to, even coming off the throttle fully, but at a really high level, you can keep about 40-50% throttle going into this corner. Two wheels over the inside curbing, and again, keep the car to the right hand side and open up the car towards the middle of the road once you have done that, to then be preparing your car here. Two wheels on the inside curbing, and then all the way to the outside of the track for where you do not really have a turning in reference or a braking reference for this corner. One thing is for sure though, try to avoid getting two wheels over this painted surface, as it will understeer you wide through the lack of grip and risk invalidating your lap. Keep the car nice and tidy towards the inside curbstone and put two wheels just about here, and that'll be the optimal trajectory around this apex, using up two wheels again on the outside curbing. Depending on your ride height of the car, just be a bit careful that you don't bottom out here, as it is quite easy to do if you have a low ride height. But with the ride height we have today, we're able to drive over it quite easily. Running up down the straight now, you'll have DRS wide open in just over 100 meters. There we go. DRS is now open, and keep the car as close to the wall on the inside to be minimizing the distance. There are no bumps down this straight, so you don't really have to pick a specific line. It is just about minimizing distance down the straight. Put the car as close to the wall on the right hand side as possible, and this braking zone is continuously curving to the left, so you have to keep that in mind and to keep that in sort of a thought process for where your car is going to be in 50 meters. For example, if I'm pointing my car in a straight line here, then if I continue traveling in a straight line, we're going to end up hitting the wall on the outside like this. So of course, we do not want that. So what you're actually looking to do, as we're trying to get off the wall right now, but the car is a little bit stuck. There we go. You'll be braking at the 100-meter board, but then your car is actually going to be pointed toward this trajectory, going towards the blue paint on the outside of the track up ahead, because once you brake at the 100-meter board, if you keep your car in a straight line, by the time you start reaching the turning point that is going to be roughly where this paint strip ends underneath the car right now, then you are further to the right hand side of the track without risking hitting the wall. So that is just a good rule of thumb, and as close to the wall you can get, the better before turning in the car, as you open up more track width, and more track width gives you more attack to open up the angle of the corner. Two wheels on the inside curbing again, and then you'll be running speed through the right hander. This is really slippy, slidey, treacherous corner because it's so easy to lose grip throughout here, because you spend a lot of the time actually on painted surfaces, and the rear of the car can be sliding around because of that. So you'll be again looking to get 2 wheels over this inside painted curb, so you could be opening up the corner as much as possible, straight lining the exit and pointing your car as straight as possible towards the next corner. The reason that you do this is to help the traction of the car, and if your car is pointed in a certain direction, you are loading up the suspension and it's just going to make the car unbalanced and be too sensitive to get back to the power in the most optimal way. Don't go tight to the wall here, because that means that your braking zone will have a much tighter trajectory. If you only go 2 wheels on the white line here and follow a nice steady trajectory around this corner, then you can open up the braking zone as much as possible. Again, there is not really a big reference for this corner. Something I sort of advise is once you get over this sort of painted surface underneath the car, then you sort of count 2 to 3 part of the red part of the surface, and then that is a good reference to be braking. But that's very hard to do when you're actually in the zone on your qualifying lap or in a race as well. So to be honest, the braking zone doesn't really matter here. You can brake 10 meters early and still roll good speed throughout the apex, just because the nature of the corner, that the racing line is more important than being late on the brakes here. Speaking of the racing line, this is a really easy place to make up time, but also lose time. You want to get your car as far over this inside curbings as possible, and then be skipping over the white line like this is doing right now. You can see, like this, we always have one tyre in contact with the track, and that allows us to be exploiting as much of the track limit as possible, and then going forward. We'll show you a bit more when we do a hot lap example after this final sector, and you can see, like this, there's always at least one tyre in contact with the road, as we're getting a little bit stuck on the curb right now, and that is the way to do it. Just keep one tyre in contact with the road, and that is the optimal way throughout that chicane, and cut it as much as possible. Open up the road. If you can get to the outside wall, do turning from here, as it will help your exit, but then turning in sharp left, not really hitting the inside curb. It's not the end of the world if you do, but optimally you do drive around it, then anticipate oversteer from the car, because you actually go downhill a little bit. So we're going to flick it around, and then we can show you right now. So you can see that the track is going uphill just a little bit right now. So of course, as you're going downhill, the rear of the car will lose grip, and then that'll give you a big stack of oversteer if you're not careful. Flicking the car back around to continue on with the straight. The straight is quite simple. It's a straight. And then you could be opening up DRS. The only thing to keep in mind here is keeping the car to the right hand side of the road. If you're really confident in the grip of the car, you can be braking on the painted surface, but if you're not so confident in the car, then do not brake on the painted surface. The advantage to braking on the painted surface is quite simply it opens up the corner by about a tyre width more compared to if you brake on the normal track. Either way, you'll be braking at the 100-meter board, then going down into third gear. Very easy to lock up and make a mistake here, but you'll be looking for as early of an apex as you possibly can get. And the reason for that is the corner is quite tight on the entry, but quite wide on the exit. And then you can see the inside curbing, you avoid the curbstone. But you can see what I mean. The corner is really wide here on the exit, so you really want to turn in early to the corner and then use up all the road here as well. There's a little divot in the wall, in the barrier, that you can sort of play with to maximize your track use as well. You can see that the barrier sort of curves to the right a little bit here, and you can get your car very lovely jubbly in this gap to be opening up the exit as much as possible before we're going on to a full speed hot lap example now. Opening up DRS, turn 1, 100-meter board down into third gear. You can see now just taking a bit of oversteer as we went into the corner, and now through the left, through the right. You can see over the curbings very nicely. We're going to put the brake bars up to 56% as reaction to turn 1, lifting the throttle slightly, and again a bigger lift of the throttle through the right hand of the rear of the car. Is all over the shop on this lap right now. Down to fourth gear, you can see kissing the curb on the inside and using up all the curbstone on the exit as well. Running down the back straight now, opening up DRS, looking to minimize the distance of the road to the right hand side. And remember, the track is always curving to the left, so 100-meter board, and now down to third gear through the left, and now short shift to fourth if you want to get extra traction out of the car, and you can see that's helping stabilize the rear. Now down to third, cut over these curbings as much as you possibly can. That was pretty sweet, and again avoid the oversteer on the exit as you're getting back to the power. Up through the gears, 7th, open up DRS and keep the car to the right hand side of the road. We're going to try and open it up as much as possible, braking on the painted surface. 100-meter board down into 3rd gear, early apex, and then using up all the road on the exit, flat out for the left, flat out for the right, and this is the run up to the start finish line for a hot lap here in Miami. Let's jump into the setup and show you exactly what's going on with the car. So here we go. This is the setup that we was using for that hot lap going through. It's largely just some time trial, and I added some off-throttle differential as well, maxing out the rear tire pressures as well. So just going through it slowly. So if you do want to note this down, feel free, you can. But I also make some adjustments to make it a bit more user-friendly because that setup was a bit sketchy to be driving. What I'm instantly going to be doing is adding up to 8 on the front anti-roll bar to stabilize the front axle as it was causing so much oversteer during the lap. And I'm going to put off-throttle differential up to 25, and that should make the car balance much more drivable, much more usable. So there we have it, a hot lap guide of Miami. Hopefully the video was helpful, informative, and useful for you. I know that F125 is coming out very soon, but still, I wanted to cover this track so people could still learn, enjoy, and play F124. Plus, I always enjoy doing these type of videos as well. So it was a little bit for me as well in all of that. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Grazie, ciao, ciao, bye-bye.